So it's never fun when you wake up and your entire portfolio is absolutely crushed because of a massive market sell-off, which is exactly what just happened to me and I'm sure a lot of you guys. During that market dip, I saw some of my biggest winners turn into losers, where I had made a ton of money and overnight I had not only lost all the profits, but I was actually now negative on that investment. And just looking at the market, you can see that some cryptos were down 10%, some were down 50%, and some were down as much as 70%. And currently, at the time I'm recording this video, it's kind of in the midst of this market dip, where if you go on CoinMarketCap and you look at all the top 50 cryptos, you can see that almost every single one of them is in the red today. And what I'm seeing really currently online is there's two big major groups out there. You have one group that's just yelling buy, 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 that you need to buy the dip, that everything's about to take off to a new all-time high and you're gonna regret it for the rest of your life if you don't buy this dip because you're never gonna see it this low at these prices ever again. And then in this other group, you have all these people yelling sell, 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 that Bitcoin's about to crash, the entire market's about to plummet, we're about to enter the next crypto winter, and that if you don't sell now, you're gonna lose everything. And for a lot of us, it can be really confusing because on one hand, you have this group yelling you have to buy now because the market's about to explode, and then on the other hand, you have this group yelling you need to sell now because the market's about to implode. And everyone out there can seem really convincing. They have these really good arguments. They have these past predictions where they've been right, or maybe they have these really intricate charts that show it's about to go up or down. But let me let you guys in on a little secret that I figured out a long time ago, and that's just that nobody actually knows what's gonna happen. Nobody can actually predict the future and tell you what's gonna happen next. There might be people that in the past have called things right, or there might be people that have these charts that say, oh, it's about to go up, or oh, it's about to go down. But charts can always be wrong, and nobody gets it right 100% of the time, and nobody actually knows what's coming next. And for some of you guys, that might be a hard pill to swallow. People want to believe in some sort of indicator or some sort of person they could trust to tell them what's going to happen next. But nobody really does, and no indicator is perfect. See, what most people tend to get wrong about investing is it's not about absolutes. It's not about absolutely knowing that this is about to happen or that's about to happen, but about managing your risk well. And what I mean by that is you have to assume that both options are on the table. And your job is to come up with a plan that gives you the highest likelihood of success no matter what ends up happening. And one of the biggest things that causes people to lose a ton of money investing is that they go into it without any sort of plan or any sort of detailed strategy as to how they're planning on actually taking profits in the end. And for that reason, most people aren't actually investing, but they're doing something that's more closely related to gambling. You see, you can't control the markets. You have no control or say on what Bitcoin does next or what all these different crypto investments do next. The only thing that you have control over is managing your risk and the strategy that you're implementing in place to respond to any given situation. So your job is to look at all the various options on the table and say to yourself, is there any choice available to me right now that makes sense regardless of if the market goes up or down? For example, let's say you made $100,000 trading, but then after this most recent market dip, it's all the way down to $75,000. Should you sell now that you're at $75,000, or should you buy the dip? And let's say in this scenario, you started off with $25,000. Originally, you invested $25,000. It went all the way up to $100,000, and now you're currently sitting at $75,000. Well, one option on the table would be to sell off $25,000 worth of your crypto and get your initial investment off the table. If all the people saying that, crypto is about to collapse are right, and it really does collapse, well, now you have $25,000 worth of capital to get in on the bottom floor at rock bottom prices. And if the people shouting that it's time to buy the dip ended up being right and crypto does end up exploding higher, well, that's also great for you. You still had $50,000 in the market, which ended up making you a ton of money. You got to sleep soundly at night while everyone else was stressing out and couldn't sleep and was constantly checking their phones. And if you want, you can still invest that $25,000 back in the market on the way up. You win no matter what happens, and this teaches you the correct strategies to rig the game in your favor. Ultimately, in the market, what separates the winners from the losers are those people who are able to keep a level head, to keep their emotions in check, and who form a strategy from the get-go when they start investing so that they know when they're getting out, when they're taking profit, and how to manage their own risk. Some really effective strategies I found in crypto is when you invest in a crypto and the price of that crypto doubles, sell off your initial stake and invest it elsewhere. Or another really great strategy is every time your crypto doubles, sell off a third of that and reinvest it elsewhere. And currently, I still implement those strategies where every time my crypto doubles, I'll either sell off a third, or if I feel like it's really risky, I'll sell off my entire initial stake. You saw me do that with Olympus, and I've been selling off my profits from Strong for the same exact reason, because I'm trying to manage my risk and get out my initial investment before I, do anything else. And those are just 2 strategies. There's a lot of various strategies out there. The important thing is just to have a strategy and have a plan no matter the outcome. And earlier I talked about how nobody can predict the future, but I do believe that you could make some pretty good educated guesses. And currently my educated guess is maybe we go sideways for a little bit, maybe we dip lower from here, or maybe we skyrocket back up. But the longest I see this current dip lasting at the most would be a few months, and at the least would be a few days. What I don't see happening is us going from where we're at right now into the next crypto winter. And if you don't understand the difference or have never experienced a crypto winter is basically a multi-year period where prices just absolutely plummet, everything goes down, it really bottoms out, and you'll see a lot of projects lose, in some cases, up to 90% of their value. Is really a horrible thing to experience, and you definitely don't want to be around still in the market when something like that happens. And the reasoning behind me feeling like this isn't the next crypto winter is just that last time in 2017, when we went way up and we crashed down into crypto winter, we had a lot of euphoria in the market. We had a lot of people that were leveraging, their houses. They were mortgaging their houses. They were selling their cars. They were selling everything they owned to jump into Bitcoin. And I'm just not hearing those same stories currently in the market. It seems like everyone's, maybe excited, but not like super unrational where they have maxed out credit card debt. I'm sure there's some people out there that have done that, but it doesn't seem like there's a massive amount of people out there that have done that. And that's when you really get into trouble, is when the price just starts going to the moon and everyone jumps on thinking they're gonna get rich, and that's why they start doing all these crazy things. And it goes really, really high, and then it just dips a little bit, and then people start freaking because they've mortgaged their house. They realize, oh my gosh, I'm an idiot. Why did I do those things? So everyone starts selling at the same time, which is what causes the price to absolutely crash and crater out and everything to plummet. It's not just something that happens, but there's a reasoning behind that, big run up and that big crash, and it's because people are being irresponsible. And when you don't see people being irresponsible, you could probably, with a certain amount of certainty, guess that the market's not going to crater like that in the near future. So with all that and me currently in the midst of this dip, my plan is just to stay staked everywhere I'm staked, not to sell anything and just wait this one out. I feel like if it's going to recover short term, it doesn't make sense for me to sell or try to time it, because really it's really difficult to do that. Usually when people do try to time the market, it ends up hurting a lot more than it ever helps. If, however, prices do keep dropping and it does look like we're moving into that next crypto winter, I'll accept I'm wrong, cut my losses, and move on to other opportunities outside of crypto. My plan is hit my $1 million goal regardless of what crypto's doing, regardless of what the stock market's doing, and I'm always gonna look for whatever opportunity makes the most sense. Right now, that's crypto. Right now, crypto makes the most sense to me, but maybe in the future, that's me starting my own business or investing in real estate, or who knows what it could possibly be in the future. But I always have a plan regardless of the outcome, because I don't let luck or my situation or the markets determine how I get to live my life. And a lot of times when things are looking really bad or they're looking really good, I like to remind myself of one of my favorite stories of all time. It's from one of my favorite books ever called Rules for a Night. Basically, you have this guy named Sir Richard, and he loses his prize stallion, and all his friends come around him and say, "Oh, what poor luck, so unfortunate." But Sir Richard simply responds, "We'll see." A week later, the stallion ends up returning, bringing 2 more horses with it that are equally as stunning and amazing. And all his friends are saying, "Wow, you're so lucky. You're so, fortunate. You must be so happy." And he simply says, "We'll see." A month ends up going by, and Sir Richard's oldest son, trying to tame one of these new horses, ends up getting thrown from the horse and breaking his leg. And because of that, he's not able to join the cavalry and go off to war with his friends. And all his neighbors and all his friends respond, "How terrible for your boy. What horrendous luck." And Sir Richard simply responds, "We'll see." The following month, all the young men in Sir Richard's son's cavalry unit end up getting ambushed, and they're all killed. And all of Sir Richard's friends and neighbors come to him and say, "Your son was the only one to survive. You must feel so blessed. Wow, you were so lucky." And Sir Richard simply replies, "We'll see." And a lot of times when the market's really turbulent, or things are really going bad for me, or they're going really good for me, I like to think of that story, because the truth is, you really don't know the outcome of what your current situation is going to be. The market might be down and you might think that's the end of the world, but maybe you decide to throw $1,000 into this random crypto at discount rock bottom prices, and that ends up making you $100,000. Or maybe because the market's down, you're not paying attention to crypto, and you think of the next genius idea that launches your business, that turns you into a multimillionaire and changes changes your life. You really have no idea. For me, I lost my business. I lost $100,000. It was the end of the world. I felt so depressed. It was the worst thing that had ever happened to me. But it's because of that that I launched my TikTok account. It's because of that that I launched my YouTube channel. It's because of that that I started my journey to $1 million. And my life has been radically changed because of that horrible circumstance. So hopefully that's encouraging for some of you guys, and you think about that next time that prices look grim or things look grim in your life. And for me, no matter what happens in this market, regardless of if it goes up and down, I'm excited either way because I formulated a plan. I formulated a strategy. It's me versus the world, and I'm hoping I come out on top, that I'm able to beat the rest of the market and come out with a profit. And it's kind of fun to just see what happens and see if I really did come up with a great strategy. And maybe I did and I make a ton of money, or maybe I came up with a horrible strategy and I end up losing big time, but I get to learn from it, I get to grow, and I get to try again later and see if I can, do better next time. So for me, it's either I win and make a ton of money, or I lose and I learn a ton of valuable lessons. Either way, I win ultimately. If this video is helpful, make sure to hit that like button. And if you have any questions or comments or want to just, shout out and say hello, let me know in the comments below. And if you want to see more content like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and you got to hit the little bell next to it if you want to actually be notified each time I release a new video. If you don't hit the little bell, you won't actually be notified when I release new videos. You'll have to go to YouTube, you'll have to go to the subscriptions tab, you'll have to click on my channel, and then you'll see if I release a new video. But if you don't do all that stuff, you'll never actually know. I could have released like the dopest video on the planet. I could have released a video that changes your life, but you wouldn't know about it because you forgot to hit that bell. So if that's something that interests you, make sure to hit that bell. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.